Faith and Obedience, Hall of Faith. Moses, our guy. Let's take a look.
Today's verse comes from Hebrews 11, verses 24 and 25. And it says, "It was by faith that Moses, when he grew up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to share the oppression of God's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin."
Wow, that's really interesting because that verse takes place in the New Testament. But the story of Moses takes place in the Old Testament. So we're going to have to go back to the Old Testament
To figure out what's happening here.
Let's go.
Okay.
We'll put something over the top of this part.
Oh, okay. Well, we made it back to the Old Testament. What do we have to look at, Brendan?
All right. So the thing is, the story of Moses is a really interesting story. So Moses starts as a baby, and the baby gets put in a basket. And that basket gets put in a river, and that river was an Egyptian princess. And that Egyptian princess picked up the basket. And the basket got picked up, and the basket had the baby in it. So the baby then became the baby of the princess, right? But the baby actually wasn't the baby of the princess. The baby was the baby of these other people who were Hebrews, right? So the Hebrews were actually enslaved by the Egyptians, but the Egyptian princess then had this baby that grew up and became Moses. And Moses, you see, he actually renounced being Egyptian and actually became Hebrew again, and he actually became the person that saved his people, even though he could have just grown up and been the prince of, like, you know, the prince of Egypt, and that could have been a really comfortable life. He could have had some really cool things like some gold and pyramids and all that sort of stuff, but he decided to actually be a Hebrew and save his people from the Egyptians, and Pharaoh wasn't really happy with that, but that's just the story of Moses.
Wow.
I think we need to go back to the New Testament.
Oh, okay.
Once again, I think I'll put more different things over this part.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
We're now back in the present. What does faith and obedience have to do with Moses though? Like, because he didn't grow up an Egyptian. He became Hebrew again, and he obeyed God to set God's people free. Smart man he was.
Wait, so just like Moses, things that are like, you know, should be comfortable and easy, and just because everyone else does it, we should choose to have faith in God's plan for our life so we can do amazing things for God.
Wow.
Wow, what a journey.
Today's challenge: have faith and obey God in everything you do, even if it seems like it's going to be even more difficult to do that.